talk about the Lord shall lead, and hopefully you'll pray with us and for us. Capitalists or consumers. Capitalists or consumers. A capitalist is defined normally as someone who invests or buys a company with the expectation of receiving a return on their investment. A consumer is someone who simply buys a product for instant or eventual consumption, and then they are done. The relationship with the investor and a capitalist is long-term. The relationship with the consumer is over once the product is gone. In the church, there are capitalists and there are consumers. Now, there are the obvious consumers that you know about, the very obvious ones, those who simply show up when we have free food, or want to use the campus for free, or want to get by on someone else's financial good standing. Those are very obvious consumers. But before you simply think I'm only talking about people that probably are not here this morning, I want you to know that there are consumers sometime, and we don't even realize that we have a consumer mindset. There are other consumers that are not so easily seen in the church. The text this morning helps us know and identify those who have truly invested in the kingdom and those who are just spiritual consumers. The backdrop is one of the best known stories in the Bible, and the only one that's recorded by all four gospels other than the resurrection. And that is when Jesus fed 5,000. To fully understand the text, you have to go back to the beginning of chapter 6 to see when he gathered the crowd together. When you've invested in the ministry, when you've invested in the kingdom, the storm can be a tough time. Because when the storm comes, the first thing we got to remember is that Jesus put us in the boat. Lord, you put me in the boat. But now a storm is coming, but I'm doing what you told me to do. I'm paying my tithes, but a storm is coming. I'm coming to church, but a storm is in my life. I'm praising you in spirit and in truth. But there's a storm in my life. I'm trying to do right by my husband, do right by my wife, do right by my children, but there's a storm in my life. You put me in the boat, but now the boat is rocking, and the very boat you put me in seemed like it's about to be overthrown. The boat started moving and sloshing about back and forth because it's dangerous to be a capitalist in the storm. And you say, where's Jesus? It looked like he ain't nowhere to be found. It looked like he's gone and I can't find him nowhere. He put me in it and now he's nowhere to be found. He's up on a mountain praying and I feel like I'm all by myself. But I come to tell you this morning, there's good news. When you're in the storm, there's something you need to remember is you may not see Jesus, but Jesus sees you. For the Bible said that while he was praying, Mark says they were in the storm. And I love the words that it said, and he saw them. He may not be there where you think he is, but while you're rowing back and forth, he sees you. And I want you to know in about 3 o'clock in the morning, when it looked like that all hope is gone, he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. He came walking on the water, turned the water into a sidewalk, started making his way to his disciples. I want to tell somebody this morning, don't you worry about the storm, because there's a God that sees you, and he's on the way to pull you out of the storm. As a matter of fact, the Bible said that when he got in the boat, the storm stopped immediately, and they made it to the other side. Not only does he see you, not only will he come and see about you, but if God said you're going to the other side, you can hold on in the storm. Because if God said it, you're going to make it to the other side. In John 6, he says, the only reason that you're looking for me now is because you enjoyed the fish dinner that I hooked you up with the other day. You loved the 2-piece meal that I gave you for free. The only reason you're looking for me is because you want something out of me. You see, capitalists say, what can we do together? But consumers say, what can you do for me? They were looking for another meal from Jesus. And when he didn't do what they wanted him to do, they began to turn and walk away. I want you to know there are some people, when the storm is rising, they're the first people to want to say, I don't know if this church for me or not. When the storm is rising in the family, they're the first one to say, I told you it wouldn't work. When the storm is rising on the job, they're the first one to say, I need to find me another job. When the storm is raging and your children are acting crazy, that's the first one to say, them your kids, not mine. There's some people that always want to show up when the storm is over. But there are some people that have invested, and they say, when the storm is going on, I'm going to stay in the boat. I'm going to hold on because it may be rough, but I got something invested. And if God put me in the boat, I know that after a while, everything is going to be all right. Don't you hate on folk that show up after the storm. It's natural to now, because even the psalmist said, he said, but as for me, my feet almost slipped. When I considered the unrighteous, it looked like they don't have no storms. It looked like they don't have any problems. It looked like that they don't have any situations. But he said, but then when I was about to quit, Psalm 72 says, but then I went to church and God talked to me and said, they may be flourishing now, but the grass grows, but sooner or later it's cut down. So fret not yourself over evildoers, because they may rise now, but after a while they'll be cut down. I want to tell somebody, stay on the boat. The only way you're going to make it, you got to stay on the boat. And if the boat is destroyed, you can make it on broken pieces.